Welcome to Rebecca Sounds Reveille. What a delightful show we have for you today. I'm really just ecstatic and honored with the guest that I have for you. The guest today has a long history in film and in entertainment. I've got to tell you, he goes back from, about the fifth grade or so, where he started becoming so interested in acting, and then it moved on into his high school years, moving on into university years, and getting even a degree from the University of Washington after spending some time in England. You may know him just as you are looking at the screen, and the face is so familiar, but let me tell you a little bit more. He has spent a lot of time in filmography and has spent about, has had 11 feature films, has a lot of made-for-TV movies. He's done a lot of on-Broadway productions, and there's a lot more to his background just than that, but you may have known him in your home from many seasons, 8 years in fact, where he was Al Borland on Home Improvement. So I'd like to welcome to the show Richard Karn. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much. That was a wonderful intro.
Well, I'm really excited because there's even more than that you have done. You've done a lot more on Hallmark type movies and Family Feud. There's even more to you than just that. But I've got to ask you something. How did you know in the fifth grade that this was going to be something that you were going to strive for?
I didn't. But I remember that fifth grade play vividly because I think it was something that the teacher wrote. To be honest with you, it was about Thanksgiving, and I was the child that ate too much, and then I have this dream where everything that I ate put me on trial. Like the turkey and the mashed potatoes and everything. And I remember making my own prop. I had a prop that I used an old brown bag, and I made a drumstick out of it. I was very proud of that. But I distinctly remember standing off stage, about to go on, and literally thinking, I can just walk away. I don't have to go out there. I think I can just, and it'll be okay. And then I walked on stage, and it was transforming, in fifth grade. And I just kind of kept, finding that in school plays, in school sports. I did a lot of things. I had a great childhood, and I did community theater in high school, which was set up because of our high school drama teacher, Ms. Wills. She put together this kind of winter one-act festival where we directed it, we cast it, we did it all ourselves, the students. And then she had professionals, from Seattle area come in and kind of first, second, third best play, best director, best supporting actor, all that kind of stuff. And as a sophomore, I got this best supporting actor, which was, it came out of left field. I didn't expect that because I really didn't know how to create a character at that point. I was just I think I was doing an impersonation of Paul Lynde, which, most of your viewers won't even remember Paul Lynde, but I was just doing that and throwing it into that character. And I get this, and which led to doing summer theater that summer at the Bathhouse Theater.
How fun is that? Our childhood brings back so many memories of dreams and different things. And when it comes back to this, I just could feel, I got the hairs on my arms standing up when you were talking about some of these memories that you had, because it just invoked a lot of my own at the same time, and also the same excitement that, as you were talking about it, I could just feel yours as well. And I think that that's really neat. But you moved on from there too. And doing so led you to getting a degree. Now, was your degree in England?
No, actually, England was my sophomore year. There was an exchange program with Queen's College in New York and the University of Washington, and we went over for 6 months, and we did a play at the Edinburgh Festival. So we lived in Edinburgh, Scotland for a month. We did a play at the Robin Hood Theatre in Nottingham.
Oh my goodness.
We did the play in Wales, and 3 months in London. And we had teachers from different schools in London, Bristol Old Vic, oh gosh, what are the other schools? Royal Academy, you know, fencing teachers, dialect coaches, acting coaches, movement, all that kind of stuff for 6 months. And then when I came back to the University of Washington, I auditioned for a professional training program, which was a 3-year program, which you either got a master's or a BFA or something like that. But they only took about 16 into each class. So you had to audition for that. And there were probably 500-600 kids that auditioned across the country for these programs. And I got into the one in my hometown, University of Washington, and ended up doing 3 years there and then moving to New York.
I wasn't sure if there was some kind of connection with the university and something that was going on in England, and that was the connection there. So I didn't know if there, you know, if there was some degree that I didn't know how that works. So this is kind of neat. Let me ask you though, as far as acting goes and what your experience was there in another country and here, is there a big difference?
There was a growing up.
Okay.
Leaving home and going to another country and experiencing all that stuff while you're also, you know, in acting class, which is, you know, it's a lot of times it's therapy for a lot of people. You know, they're working through issues and stuff like that as they try to find the truth in plays where, you know, you could be a murderer, you could be, you know, all sorts of things, and you have to bring that stuff from your past, which, you know, can dredge up some things like that. But I don't know. I loved it. And the season that I had in London was, I could write a book about just the theater that I went to when I was living in London, because I got to see Jimmy Stewart in Harvey. I got to see Richardson and Gielgud in No Man's Land, Alan Bates in Otherwise Engaged. I saw Betty Davis just talk about her life.
My goodness.
I saw Lulu play Peter Pan with Ron Moody as Captain Hook. It was one show after the other was just amazing. Jonathan, from Brazil, Jonathan, he was in Comedians, spectacular. It was just, you know, lessons right there, just watching these people. Yeah, you know, these actors work. I saw Hamlet with Albert Finney, and Angela Lansbury played his mom. I mean, this was the kind of season in 1 year that I got in London.
That's pretty phenomenal, because you were able to really, I mean, just absorb so much at that time. And I bet that...
you know, when you're 19, 20 years old, everything's soaking in.
Yes. And that kind of culture and what you were seeing in performing arts and all of the other things that were going on, I think that really solidified a lot of things and allowed you, I mean, you said that there was such a small group that was going into the program to allow you to do that.
The program lasted 3 years, and then they had auditions for us. There were 10 schools in the leagues of professional actor training programs. And we went to New York and we auditioned in New York. That's why I moved to New York instead of Los Angeles. All of a sudden I had these connections and an agent and stuff that was going on there. And I felt way more comfortable doing theater at that point, because I hadn't really thought about doing film and TV. That was something that was out of my reach in Seattle.
That's pretty interesting too. Do you find that do you still find that doing theater is preferable?
Yeah, it's very funny, because I just finished doing a play for 3 months in Kansas City. I did a play called Sheer Madness. Loved it. I loved it. And I had done the same play 4 years earlier, and they brought it back because it was so popular. And 4 years later, I'm finding stuff that I didn't find before. And when you do something for 2.5 months, you're finding things here and there. And then I think back when we were doing Home Improvement, and Home Improvement, we did it in 5 days. We would rehearse it. They would rewrite it. If a joke didn't work, they'd rewrite it, or you'd fight for the joke and try and keep it in. But we would do stuff in 5 days, and no way is it going to be as complex and everything as what I was able to do in theater with a much longer gestation period of it's a different animal. Yeah, television, it's get it up, get it going. I did a soap opera where I played a judge last year for 2 episodes on One Life to Live or one of those, and I so much respect for those guys that just have to learn a lot of stuff every day. They have to learn so much stuff every day and make it presentable and believable, and it's a really good technique.
I often think about that when I am watching something on screen and I know what kind of goes on behind the scenes, and I'm thinking some of these things, the lines are so intense, and how the actors and the actresses are really being able to gain so much quantity and being able to deliver it. And I know, and you're on set for 12 hours in a day, and you have to get all of this across. And
Necessarily. I don't think the union allows that too much unless you're going into golden time.
Yes, but just a long time.
It is of hurry up and wait.
Yes. So this is pretty neat. And so when it comes to doing a series, in comparison to, say, a movie, what do you find better in terms of being able to work on a daily basis?
Well, a lot of times in the movie, you're not going to go in chronological order. You're going to do some scenes that happen later, so you're having to prepare differently in a way, because you're not going to have certain emotional scenes that will build up to another scene. You do it and then you stop, and then you have to do and get into that same frame the next day or so. I did a series this last year for Hulu, which has premiered in February, called Pen 15, and it didn't have the feel of doing a regular series. It was more like a bunch of little independent movies.
Okay.
Because not the whole cast wasn't there all the time. With Home Improvement, you're around the cast every day, and everything, and so you get more of a family feeling, more of a camaraderie with the cast and crew that I felt in that first season of Pen 15.
Well, let me ask you too, with that being said, and so much advancement in technology and the way that film is going.
Oh yeah.
It's got to be very different now.
iPad, and the technology wasn't there 15 years ago to be able to talk to somebody like this. This was, this is Dick Tracy, the Jetsons.
Oh, true.
And now it's just another way. You can audition this way. I know people that, have moved to the Carolinas and still audition for things here in California on their iPad.
That's pretty interesting.
It's a different world.
And so with that, I do want to share with the audience that you can do anything that you want to do. So if you do want to get into film, and like what Richard is saying, that you can do an audition from, like he said, the Carolinas.
Yeah.
The opportunities are as limited as you make them, and you just got to be creative and think outside the box, and the technology is here to make you do things.
You get in trouble though too. It's a double-edged sword. You can put something out there that isn't really great.
Okay, that's very true too.
And that's going to stay out there, and people are going to look at that and go, well, this guy isn't an actor, or what's she doing? So you you should be careful about what you throw out there, because sometimes it won't go away.
You have a very good point. I think there's a lot of people that has been the victim of some challenges on social media and other things that have surfaced. And then there's been other things that have caused people that have put things out there a lot of repercussion, even trying to gain employment. So I think what you're saying is really spot on. But let me ask you too, out of all the work that you've done, do you have anything that you find I don't know, maybe most memorable, or something that might be your a favorite?
Oh, gee. Well, there were productions of plays that I just had the best time because they were so funny. Larry Shue wrote two wonderful plays, one called The Foreigner and one called The Nerd. I did both of those plays, and they were just so much fun. A farce that just kind of builds and builds and builds, and the audience is having a great time, and you're trying to keep from laughing because it's so much fun. That is a wonderful experience. Working with Tim on Tool Time was a joy. Well, they never told us they were going to do outtakes, and all of a sudden when we see these outtakes, we're going, well, that's kind of weird, isn't it, that we've broken character and they're seeing us muff our lines, and then it was almost like adding another dimension to those characters, that you saw them as regular people in a weird way.
Uh-huh. How fun. I think that doing what you love and what you feel inspired to do, and adding a component of being able to laugh with that as well, just really, really makes everything very, very fulfilling. And it sounds to me like you have found this to be a very fulfilling adventure in your life in entertainment.
It is, but then there are the times when you're, between jobs and you're looking for work, and that can be a little disheartening. It's like, I look at our job as finding work. My vacation is working, basically.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Do you have anything that is coming up that you're able to talk about?
Well, the upfronts for Pen 15 are sometime in May. So we'll find out whether that show gets picked up again, which was a lot of fun. Anna and Maya, I play the father to a girl who's in 8th grade. And that was amazing, because I have a boy. Cooper's now 27 years old. He was born the first season of Home Improvement. So I've always had a boy around the house, but all of a sudden to have a little girl who's in 8th grade and I'm playing her dad, it was a whole nother experience. It really was frightening and fun and scary. Probably more fun because, it's not real. I'm not going to have to live with the anxiety that I've created in that episode for the next 50 years. Yeah. So, but anyway, what else is coming up? Gosh, I don't know. It's so many times things come in from the left field that I just didn't anticipate. A lot of the Christmas movies I did for Lifetime and Hallmark, those just kind of came up in like August, and you do them, and then they show them in November and December. So
that's a quick turnaround.
Yeah, it is, and they've got their system, and it works pretty well.
Well, I think you are an absolutely phenomenal actor. I love to see your work on screen. I'd love to actually see you on stage at the theater. I haven't had that opportunity. You've been in my home repeatedly for a number of years in a number of ways. It's been an honor to be able to talk with you today. And I know that our audience has been able to really gain a little insight with just some of the things that we've talked about today. I'm really excited about some of your upcoming things. And I just really cannot wait to see more that you have coming, even if they are calling you at the last minute and then broadcasting it real quick, like an August to December thing. I hope that there's
Well,
some more coming. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to, as you get older, when I was doing theater in my 20s, you could just memorize stuff and remember it like that. Now that I'm a bit older, you have to work a little harder at it. So it's a lot more exciting, because sometimes you don't remember a word about a page out, in your mind. You're thinking, oh gosh, I have this line coming up, but what was that word? I know what, and then all of a sudden it's right there, and you either remember the word or you come up with a synonym.
Are there any tricks to memorization for your lines?
Plant it in reality. I know that a lot of times I need the movement to remind me. Blocking and what I'm doing and where I'm going. There was a 3-person play that I did a couple years ago where I had to learn. We did it in 10 days, and for the first half week, it was really not all there. And I had this monologue. When I finally felt comfortable, I had this monologue where I walked down to, down left stage. And so I go, you know what? I think, this is in my head, I'm going to go this way tonight. And so I turn to go that way, and I go, nope, that line isn't over there. It's over there. So I went over there, and presto, the line came back.
Oh, that's so funny. So yeah, we do make connections in different ways. And I like how you put that, because sometimes, I don't know, that is just a really good way to do that. Make a connection of getting in and doing it instead of just trying to sit.
Do it in a different way, but it's all about finding the truth in whatever you're saying.
Good point. Very good point. Oh, I love it. Gosh, this has been really insightful. I'm really glad to have had the opportunity to have you on the show today. Anything that you want to share with the viewers that they may be able to connect with you? I'm not sure if you're a social media person, but what can they do to connect with you?
On social media, but I'm not an influencer, I don't think. So I just I keep in touch with friends that way, and I throw out little things every once in a while and say, I'm doing this, or, oh, look, Facebook is famous for showing something that happened 4 years ago, and you go, oh God, that's 4 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
They throw it back up there and go, hey, I did that 4 years ago. Can you believe it? That kind of stuff.
It does go by fast. I will say that when some of those memories pop up, I can't believe the time. Yeah, it's kind of the time capsule way back when. I know when I was in 5th grade, they wanted us to plant those things in the, dig up and bury and plant them in the schoolyard or something. 20 years from now, you can come back and dig it up. Well, we don't have to do that anymore, because Facebook's going to just send it on over to you. So you've got a good point there. But how about websites or anything where somebody can follow you and see kind of the things that you have coming up, or anything like that?
I guess I'm at The Real Richard Karn on Twitter.
Excellent.
I think I'm Richard Karn. I don't know. I honestly, I'm still trying. It works.
I love that. I really love the genuineness of what you're saying, because you just do what you do, and that is what's most important to you. And I think that that's really what it's all about. And what more can you say about that? So thank you so much for being on the show today. This is really exciting. I really am impressed with that, what you just said. I just don't know. I really like that. I like the fact that you're just doing what you do, doing what you love, and that's really refreshing.
We were fortunate to do that, and I appreciate it. And I love the people that come up to me, because I was in their house when they were growing up, and now it's not about me. It's about them having those memories of watching the show with their family. really. I mean, we were like one of the last golden age in the 90s where people sat around a television, didn't record it first necessarily.
Well, that is really true, because I know that when I talk to my parents and they remember certain television shows or even just listening to radio, a show that came across and broadcast on radio. But you are right. Oftentimes there's just not something that's running a long period of time to really bridge that memory for certain childhoods. And you are definitely one of mine, I can tell you. And then being able to follow you because of that on other things. I mean, just a household face and a connection. It's almost like you being part of the family when that happens. And so that is, it's really neat that is something that you also recognize too. And many people don't. They take for granted that some of the shows that come into the house, it's just a show or it's just this, but that is part of you. That's part of your childhood. If that was on your home every night and you're coming in, that is part of you. And I mean, you'll even exhibit certain behaviors, like somebody, looking over the fence. I mean, and making jokes about certain things, and they come back from your show, or somebody will, make a joke tool time. There's just things that come to mind, little things that might come up, or just different things. And I think that that's important because we need to recognize that some of the things that are ingrained from us came from you. So it's pretty exciting.
Well, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. And thank you so much for being with me today. Again, I'm really honored because you've been part of my family's life for many, many years. And I finally have an opportunity to not only meet you and learn about you, but it gives the audience that is here to learn more about you some insight into your life and how pure you are. I just absolutely love it. So again, thank you.
All right. Well, you all take care.
And I want to thank all of you for tuning in today for another episode of Rebecca Sounds Reveille. Stay tuned and make sure that you share this show with your friends, your family, and everyone that you know on social media, and even those you don't. Welcome to Rebecca Sounds Reveille. I am absolutely ecstatic because I have not one guest today, but two that are going to be something so different and so unique that they're going to share a lot about the things that they're doing in, the world of entertainment. Today with me, I have Austin Foxx, who, he's an actor and director for Mom and Eli, 3 Aprils in March. And with me also is Corey Foxx. And he's an actor, producer. He's known for the Adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle, yes, and the Majestic and Amhurst. But there's so much more to these two. You would never really put it together unless you saw them together yourself. And here they are, father and son, both in entertainment, doing what they do best, directing, producing, and being very involved in entertainment. So with me, and would you know who is who? Yes, Austin and Corey. So Austin, I'm going to have you go first and let you introduce yourself to the Rebecca Sounds Reveille audience.
Well, yes, as you said, I am Austin. He's the Corey guy. I am an actor, and I am the director and producer and writer on Mom. I've also been in other projects, as you said, such as Eli, 3 Aprils in March, and a few other things. And now on to him.
Hi, I'm Corey Foxx.
Yes.
As you can tell, I'm his older brother. Some people mistaken me as his father.
I'm sorry.
We can just go with older brother. No, I am his father. I'm just messing with you.
Well, I've got to tell you, that's pretty good, because I thought I was wrong, and I thought I knew you guys pretty well, and I'm thinking, oh my goodness, how did I miss this? Because I thought I really knew you. So okay, there we go.
No, I'm his father. I'll be 50 this year, so on the young side. But yeah, again, I'm an actor and producer. I actually got started doing this back in 1998, 1999. I actually went to California, moved out there because I wanted to be an actor. Found out that I was a little bit better behind the camera than in front of the camera, so I started producing. We started a film production company called Lifeline Entertainment out there, and oh wow, we made 5 feature films, a couple of horror films, some dramas, a really cool documentary called Almost Beautiful. We followed around a golf rock band for about 6 months, went out to Puerto Rico with them, and that was all fun to put together, especially when they flew back in a hurricane, which is cool. And then, let's see, I had a few kids. I have 4, 3 boys, Tyler, Austin, and Travis, and I have a daughter named Shelby, which she's grown up and married and out of my hair. Thank you. I mean, it's all good.
Oh, and he's laughing too.
True.
This is so beautiful. You guys make such a good team with what you have going on. And let me ask you, Austin, how did you kind of find your niche here and find that this is what you were wanting to do?
Well, when I was little, I did a little bit of modeling when I was just a little bitty baby. And then when I was about 10, I had been interested in TV, so I asked my dad. I knew he was a director in California, and I asked him, I want to be an actor, Daddy. And so
what did I say?
He said,
you have to take classes. You have to learn. You have to take classes.
So he signed me up for an acting school called Barbizon, and I studied there for about half a year. And eventually they held this little competition. I got second place in my division, and I got callbacks from about 38 agents.
Wow.
32. And
it was a lot.
And after reviewing, talking to some of them, I eventually signed my current agent, Don and George Landrum.
Yeah, pretty much it. And then he gets a big part in a big movie.
Are you allowed to elaborate a little bit more?
Sure.
Yes, because I mean, I know that there's parameters on this, but if you can talk about your big part, I want to hear it.
Well, I can't say too much, but I'll say what I can. I'm wondering what it's about with the necessary experience on it.
Go with it.
All right.
All right.
So, necessarily, it's about this boy who has an autoimmune disorder, and after going to a house to get some treatment, he finds out that the house isn't really what it seems. That's what I can say about that. But it was really a great project to work on. It was an experience that a lot of new actors don't really get to see until later in their career. It was a real hard step into what the entertainment industry can be. I had a lot of fun doing it.
What was your role?
It was a ghost.
Yeah, he played Perry, one of the ghosts.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, that gave me chills when you said that. It did.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me the experience about like the when you got there. What was the first thing they fed us when we got there? Do you remember?
I do not remember.
Oysters on the half shell, roasted, grilled oysters with lamb. So that's it. Yeah, that's what Paramount does from their projects.
Of course, the first thing he talks about is the food.
Yes.
Okay, so when we were off air, we did discuss food because I was sharing that as an extra, I would go and there was just a smorgasbord of food. But to hear what you just said, I would not even imagine that whatsoever.
Oh no, it was great. They had this a gut truck. It looked like a gut truck, but this one was really big and fancy. They had great burritos and served to order breakfast, lunch. Like I said, the first day we were there, it was lamb chops with smoked oysters. That was so good. With smoked oysters.
Goodness.
And stuff along, with salad, and they had some really good sides and stuff like that. But then the next day was like a really good prime rib. So that's how
you're just
big productions work.
Yeah.
And this is a little week.
Oh my goodness.
No.
So
Yeah.
were you just in heaven, Austin?
Huh?
Were you in
Were
heaven?
you just in heaven with all of this? I mean, you're treated like a king.
It was
love it.
close.
I love it.
Yes. It was really enjoyable.
I really love it. And so, Corey, as you're doing this, I know that you're in the industry too, but coming from the perspective as a parent, how is this for you to watch your son doing, everything that he's doing?
It was surreal, actually. I'm just like, I can't believe I'm sitting here watching my 11-year-old son sit in a makeup chair, for 4 hours, while they do all these prosthetics and stuff on him, all this makeup, make look like, bones protruding out of him and stuff. That was amazing. He was so patient and so professional about it, where, most kids that age would get squirmy and, uncomfortable. He was really good. He sat there and he took it like a champ. And to watch him work, he probably had a harder part, the three ghosts, because there's three ghosts in this movie. They probably had the hardest part because they didn't have any lines. It was all action. So they had to scare you, and it was all action. There was no lines or anything like that. So I think that's harder than if you actually have lines to say or interaction back and forth and talking back and forth to people, because that's natural.
Sure.
Scaring the heck out of people, jumping, around corners, dragging, all the different things they had to do. Well, that's not as easy, because that's not natural.
Mm-hmm.
I have to agree with you. And so let me ask you, Corey, so many people are wondering how child actors get an education when they're on set for sometimes 12, 16 hours a day. And so many are homeschooled, or many have different types of schools where they're out for a certain period of time. So do you do any type of education while you're on, like if you're sitting in the makeup artist's chair, are you able to get some type of education while you're sitting there? Dad, Corey, are you sitting there with, some kind of book saying, okay, let's go over some of this stuff to study for your test? How does that work?
Well, actually, film production sets are required by whatever state they're filming in, that they have to have a set teacher on staff. So, and they have to do, depending on their age, between 3 to 4 hours a day of schooling. It doesn't have to be consistent, and they can bank time too. But that's basically what they're doing, is they have to have that many hours. So there's a set teacher. The one on Eli, her name was Miss Sims, and she was wonderful.
Yes,
she's been a set teacher for years. So she had curriculum for them. She actually gave Austin a book to read, and he got to keep it afterwards. I think she even signed it for you, didn't she?
Yeah, I think she did.
So, and I she asked me to bring some lessons for him, and I've been wanting him to learn how to do handwriting, cursive, because I've taken those out of schools.
Yes.
So I brought assignment books for doing cursive, and he worked on those along with, they did some puzzles for, and you're going to say puzzle, well, that really isn't learning, but they had 6 kids, and they learned how to work together to put this 1,000-piece puzzle together, and they worked together, and they assigned different areas. It was kind of cool to watch them do it and stuff like that. So
I believe before we left, we got the 2 puzzles.
Yeah, 2,000-piece puzzles they got put together in was it 2 weeks of filming that he did?
About, yeah.
Okay, so that's pretty incredible. Let me ask you a question too, Austin. So we've talked about you sitting in the chair, you being on screen. So now let's do a little role reversal here as a director, and you having people that are now sitting in the chair. You get to tell them what you would like them to do. How is that as a director, and especially at your age?
Being a child and it being your first time, it can be a lot of work. Your feet will hurt, you'll have to be walking around doing all this stuff, trying to make sure you get the movie in your image. But eventually, if you get used to it, it's still hard, don't get me wrong, but you can get the general idea of it. And the real thing is you got to have a good communication with your team, make sure everyone's working together, and it will go way more smoothly. And you'll get everything done way faster and better.
This is fantastic that you really can see and understand how that is. It's hard for even adults to grasp this sometimes. So this is pretty amazing. Do you like doing that more than being on set as an actor, or do you like both? What do you think you're leaning towards?
I'm leaning towards acting. That's what I really like. But I also think doing some directing every once in a while is very fun too. It's a great experience. And
what was it like bossing around adults?
I've been asked that.
I'm wondering that too, and I was wondering how receptive.
Did you have to fire anyone is what I want to know.
Okay, here's the story. So we were at one of our production meetings, and because it was a short film, we had to cut a lot of time and try and squeeze the movie into about 40 minutes.
Okay.
So while we were there, we had this scene with a bill collector, and they're starting to pay bills. So we ended up having to cut that scene due to time, and guess who was the bill collector?
Yeah, guess.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he fired me on his set. So yeah, we had to cut that scene because it just wasn't flowing with the rest of the movie and stuff like that. So yeah, they informed me that they weren't going to be filming that scene. So got fired by my own son.
And necessarily,
Austin.
Huh?
You fired your dad.
Yes.
Cut.
He
right
enjoyed
there.
it. Don't let him kill you. Yeah.
You know, that's really something, because that shows a lot of strength in your character, that you're looking at the outcome of what you need to do and not anything else, saying, okay, well, I'm just going to go with it. You're really concentrating and staying focused on the delivery. And that shows a lot, especially for, and I don't mean to go back to this, but I really want to point it out. So I guess I do. Being your age, that's an incredible, it's an incredible thing, a strength that you have. And that's going to really take you to a lot of places, because a lot of people can't do that, and it will show in their work. So that is a big plus. And Corey, what have you got going right now?
Right now, we've got post-production on Mom going right now. So we got a couple of more scenes to shoot. We're going to be shooting this Monday out in Austin. We've got the newscaster scene and some voiceover work to be done, trying to pick up some ADR work on it. So, yeah, once we get that all put together, it's getting the package put together and getting it ready for the film festival circuit.
I love it. I absolutely love it. I'm really excited about what you guys have going on, and the amount of teamwork the two of you have, as well as the focus that you have, because both of you not only have an individual focus on the work that you do, but a teamwork focus. And it's pretty amazing to see. Do you have anything that's going to be coming really soon for the audience to stay tuned for?
Don't you have that Lovesick short film that's going to be coming out pretty soon?
Yes, that is going to come out soon, if they have not already released it.
I think May the 5th is when that's coming out.
Yeah. Okay. And also, Eli is planned to come out on Netflix this year, as we have heard. So you can be watching out for that.
Oh, I have something. Assassination 33 AD. That will be coming out here later on this year, too. So that's a pretty cool movie.
Oh, this is really exciting. I'm excited for the things that you guys have going. I know that not only what you have going on this year is going to really be very advantageous for you, but I think it's going to launch you both into things that are beyond imagination. And so I want to ask you both from an individual perspective. Tell me and share with the audience something maybe a little bit that might give them some inspiration that will help them do something maybe that they thought they couldn't in their own life.
Well, take it from me. Even if you're young and still a child, you can still make some great things in the world. There have been many children that have done things and got themselves out there and helped the world, and made people that have pushed for their goals, no matter how people looked at them or tried to stop them. They did what they wanted to do. And that's what I say. Don't let people try and persuade you on what to do. You do what you love to do.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that Nike has had one of the best slogans ever, and that's just do it. Don't be afraid. Take that step.
I love it. And fire your father.
Yes.
No, I think what you're saying is right. You really have to do what you want to do. Don't let people weigh you down. Stay focused. Go for it. You need to just do it because we only live once. So I want to thank both of you so much for taking time to be with me today, to be with the audience, to share.
Can I say one more thing real quick?
Yes, absolutely.
I'm sorry. I just water trigger over here. We actually do have a GoFundMe account that we're doing to help raise the funds to finish the mom project with all the post-production on there. And you can go to Austin Foxx, and that's Fox of 2X's.com, and get all that information. And there's some really great behind-the-scenes photos and of the production and stuff like that on there as well.
Yes.
Excellent. I'm really glad that you brought that up because I think it's important for the viewers to also get involved because they are now connecting with you and they're going to be able to move forward with a lot of the things that you've got going on. And Austin, people are going to be able to follow you for a long time because you are a committed young man that is growing in this industry. And with what you're doing right now, there's an unlimited potential in entertainment. And I can see that you've got a long, wonderful road in this industry. So I am really excited to follow you. And I know, Corey, you've got to be beyond surreal and proud. And with what you're doing, it's going to be something that we're going to want to follow for you as well. So thank you both so much for being with me today.
Oh, thank you for having us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Most definitely. And I want to thank all of you for watching and tuning in today. Please make sure to take a moment not only to do one, but two things. Go to austinfox with 2x's.com and contribute to the GoFundMe page so that you can get involved with the post-production process and you can get in with some extra behind the scene things that maybe aren't out there. You can get involved with that and then you can see what happens after everything is all done and on screen. Really exciting. And not only that, we ask that you share the show with all of your friends, your family, your loved ones, and even the people that you don't know all over social media. Again, go to austinfox.com and we ask that you tune in again for the next episode next week.